Warriors fans, it's been a long and frustrating offseason, but it looks like we're finally approaching the resolution everyone's been waiting for. The tension that's been building between the front office and Jonathan Kuminga seems to be reaching its breaking point. And for better or worse, Golden State has made its move. They've officially reopened trade talks with Sacramento. Yes, the same Kings who were already offering a future-protected first-round pick and Malik Monk. And let's be real here. That's basically the Warriors waving the white flag and saying, yeah, we messed this up. This whole situation has been boiling all summer long. The locker room felt it. The fans definitely felt it. Every press conference, every rumor, every quiet moment of the offseason, it all had Kuminga's name hovering over it. And now the front office is scrambling to clean up the mess. Joe Lacob and Mike Dunleavy Jr. seriously overplayed their hand, thinking they had the leverage to shape things on their terms. They waited, they pushed, and now they're circling back to a deal they could have probably had months ago. It's not just a trade, it's an admission. It's a clear sign that even the most confident front offices can misread the room. Look, Kuminga had a decent year. Not amazing, not breakout, but enough flashes to keep fans and scouts intrigued. But here's the thing, he didn't play heavy minutes. He wasn't the focal point of the offense. And in that situation, a lot of young players would take the safe route. Secure the bag, sign the extension, and lock in their future. But Kuminga? He decided to bet on himself. He was ready to take this all the way to media day. Skip it if he had to, even drag this standoff into the regular season. And honestly, that mindset tells you everything you need to know about how fractured the relationship had become. If you're a team chasing a championship, which the Warriors still claim to be, the last thing you want is that kind of tension walking into the locker room on day one. You don't want a guy coming in with one foot out the door, disrupting the flow, and throwing off the chemistry. This team needs a strong start. They need to come out firing. We've seen what happens when they open the season locked in. Go back to the 2014 to 2015 season, or the legendary 2015 to 2016 campaign. Those were dominant stretches of basketball, and a huge part of that came from a unified locker room and clarity about roles. Everyone was on the same page. That's how you ring off 70-plus wins. That's how you build momentum that carries deep into the playoffs. Now, picture Kuminga coming back with an extension, but still unhappy. Let's say he gets big minutes, puts up 25 points, 5 boards, and 5 assists a night. On paper, that looks incredible. But if those numbers are coming at the cost of Steph Curry's rhythm or Klay Thompson's touches, if the ball movement is slowing down and the offense starts looking like a one-man showcase, then those stats are just empty calories. They don't move the needle. They don't win games. And they don't help you compete in the West. So now that the Warriors are back in talks with the Kings, the question becomes, what's next? They're getting a distant first-round pick, protected and likely not conveying until 2030. That's not a pick you use. That's a pick you move. And Malik Monk, while a solid shooter, clearly doesn't fit into the Warriors' current system. So this deal, it's just step one. Golden State is positioning itself to flip these assets into something more aligned with their win-now window. And that means a bigger trade is likely on the horizon, a multi-team deal that reshuffles the deck for several franchises. The Kings want to shed some money, possibly move on from Buddy Hield or another mid-tier contract. The Warriors want fit, shooting, and depth, guys who can come in and contribute without needing the ball in their hands constantly. Maybe Moses Moody gets thrown into the deal. Maybe they find a third team that's looking to reset and is willing to take on future assets. There's no shortage of teams looking to shake things up right now. Think about the Bulls. That front office is stuck in no man's land, with expensive veterans and no clear direction. A guy like Kevin Huerter could be available if the right package comes along. Nikola Vucevic is another name that's floated out there, big body, good skill set, but maybe not the long-term answer for Chicago. And guess what? Those kinds of players, the ones with real talent, but unclear fit, those are exactly the type of targets the Warriors are quietly shopping for. And don't be surprised if a name like Josh Giddey gets involved down the line. Young, talented, and ready to contribute in a system built around ball movement and spacing. Imagine a guy like that sliding into Golden State's second unit, learning from Steph, and growing into a real piece for the future. Pair him with a shooter like Monk, and suddenly you've got a bench unit that can hold leads, something the Warriors desperately lacked last season. Of course, all of this is just speculation, but it's educated speculation. When a team like the Warriors makes a move like this, they're not just doing it to appease a frustrated young player. They're setting up a chain reaction. They know this roster, as currently built, doesn't have the juice to hang with the top teams in the West. They know Steph is still elite, but his window isn't infinite. They know Klay's not the same guy, Draymond's body is breaking down, and Wiggins is a question mark on any given night. They need depth, they need hunger, and they need flexibility. That's why this pick from the Kings is so valuable. Not because of what it might become in 5 or 6 years, but because of what it can turn into this season. Teams love protected picks. They feel like lottery tickets. They're far enough out that rebuilding teams see upside, but protected enough that contenders don't mind parting with them. And Malik Monk? If he's not in Golden State's long-term plans, they can easily reroute him to a team looking for bench scoring. He's an asset, not a core piece. And once that door is open, all kinds of possibilities come into play. Could the Warriors swing a deal with Phoenix? Maybe bring in a big like Nick Richards if Charlotte's looking to shake things up? Could they use one of their trade exceptions to absorb a veteran wing or another shooter? Maybe even revisit talks with Brooklyn, Atlanta, or Indiana, teams that have been dangling mid-level pieces all offseason. The point is, Golden State is finally acting like a team that understands its timeline. No more waiting. No more bluffing. It's time to retool and reload. And they're doing it just in time, too. Media Day is right around the corner. Monday. That's when the cameras come out, the players smile for the press, and everyone pretends things are totally fine. But you better believe the Warriors want clarity before then. They don't want this Kuminga drama dragging into interviews, into preseason games, or into the first month of the schedule. They want to show up to Media Day with a clean slate. This is our team. Period. So yeah, Kuminga's gone. That much is certain. The only question now is how big the return is and how fast they can spin it into something meaningful. Because this season, this isn't about rebuilding. This is about maximizing every second left in Steph Curry's prime. And anything or anyone that doesn't help that goal has to go. Now, while all this front office action is unfolding behind the scenes, there's another layer to this whole situation that fans often overlook: the vibe, the energy in the building, the way a team feels about itself when it walks into Media Day and looks around the room. That atmosphere, it matters. And for a team like the Warriors, it matters more than ever because the margin for error is razor thin this season. Golden State's championship core isn't getting any younger. Steph is still elite. No one's questioning that. But we're not pretending anymore that he's got 5 or 6 dominant years left. Klay's been through injuries, Draymond's dealing with wear and tear, and the bench has been wildly inconsistent. So when the team reports to Chase Center, they can't afford tension. They can't afford distractions. The front office knows it. The coaching staff knows it. And most importantly, the players feel it. They need clarity. They need chemistry. And they need it from day one. That's why this Kuminga situation had to be resolved before Media Day. Because the last thing you want is guys dodging questions, side-eyeing each other in interviews, and wondering who's really going to be on the court come opening night. That type of uncertainty trickles into everything: practice, film sessions, even the locker room music. And when the season starts, that early stretch of games can define the whole year. Look back at the dynasty years. Every time the Warriors got off to a hot start, it set the tone for everything that followed. It's not a coincidence. It's a culture thing. So now that the front office is finally pulling the trigger, the players can breathe a little easier. The dominoes are starting to fall. And while we're all focused on trades and rotations, let's not forget one of the most underrated storylines heading into Media Day: Jimmy Butler's hair. Yes, you heard me right. If you followed Jimmy over the past few years, you know he's made Media Day his personal Halloween. One year it's dreadlocks. Another year it's emo hair. And every time, it gets the internet buzzing. Now, obviously Jimmy isn't a Warrior yet, but his presence around the team lately hasn't gone unnoticed. There's been chatter. There's been speculation. He's been linked to Steph in off-court workouts, and there's that whole Batman and Robin dynamic he joked about. But even beyond the trade rumors, Jimmy just loves the spotlight. He knows how to create a moment. And Media Day is his canvas. Last year, he kind of kept it low-key. No crazy hair. No big statements. But that felt like a guy playing it safe, maybe dealing with frustration over the Heat's direction, or just not feeling it at the time. This year? Whole different story. You can already tell Jimmy's gearing up for something theatrical. There's a certain energy around him. He's been working out with younger guys, pushing himself hard, and based on what we saw at that mini camp the other week, he's locked in. So don't be shocked if he walks in a Media Day looking like a human palm tree or a rock star from the 80s. Maybe a Lionel Richie throwback. Maybe the Island Boy look. Honestly, nothing's off the table. But here's the deeper point. Even with all the media antics, Jimmy Butler brings intensity. He brings purpose. And if the Warriors were to somehow get in the mix for him down the line, that would be a cultural reset in the best way. A guy who lives for big moments, who's not afraid to challenge teammates, and who would absolutely thrive in a high IQ system like Golden State's. Again, it's probably a long shot, but don't rule anything out, especially if this season starts off bumpy and Miami looks to retool. Back to the Warriors, though. With Kuminga heading out, you're going to see a flurry of activity. Veteran free agents, two-way contracts, trade exceptions finally being put to use. The whole point of moving Kuminga now is to give the team some breathing room, both financially and strategically. They've been operating with a tight cap and a short rotation for too long. Last season, they were basically running an 8-man crew most nights. That can't happen again. Not with the depth of talent in the Western Conference. Not when every game feels like a playoff preview. You need at least 10 reliable guys. You need lineups that can shift depending on the matchup. And you need youth that can contribute now, not 2 or 3 years down the line. That's why names like DeAnthony Melton, Gary Payton II, Seth Curry, or even Al Horford start to make sense. Not because any of them are game changers on their own, but because each one fills a specific gap. Defense, shooting, veteran leadership, rebounding. These aren't headline moves, but they're the ones that make a difference in May and June. And don't forget the 2 draft picks from this year. The Warriors still have those guys in the mix, and depending on how the roster shakes out, they could end up signing them to two-way deals just to keep some development in the pipeline. You always want to be thinking 2 steps ahead, building for the present without completely punting on the future. That's the balance Golden State's trying to strike now. And depending on how they move that protected pick from the Kings, this could all snowball into something bigger. They might find themselves in position to grab a starting caliber forward or center. Maybe Nick Richards from Charlotte ends up in the mix. Maybe Kevin Huerter finds himself wearing a different jersey next week. Maybe Royce O'Neal gets packaged in a multi-team deal that rebalances everything. There's even been quiet talk about a Kelly Oubre return, someone who knows the system, fits athletically, and could thrive in a more structured role. That's what this moment is. A chance to reset the foundation and build out the depth chart the right way. Before we continue, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any exclusive Dubs updates. Let's keep going. In what could be the most shocking move of the season, whispers from league insiders suggest the Golden State Warriors have agreed to a historic trade with the New York Knicks. Details remain scarce, but sources close to the situation indicate that both franchises are on the verge of shaking up the NBA landscape in a way few could have predicted. Fans are already buzzing on social media, speculating about which stars could be involved. The Warriors, known for their championship pedigree, appear ready to make a bold statement, potentially acquiring a player capable of complementing Stephen Curry's sharpshooting brilliance. Meanwhile, the Knicks, who have been searching for a spark to reignite their postseason hopes, seem poised to land a piece that could instantly transform their roster. The trade, if finalized, might not only redefine the trajectory of these two teams, but could also send shockwaves throughout the entire league. Insiders describe the negotiations as intense, with multiple meetings reportedly held in secret over the past few weeks. Sources hint that the deal could involve a mix of current players, draft picks, and possibly even a star with championship experience, a combination that has NBA pundits already speculating about the long-term impact on both franchises. Could this be the trade that finally brings a new dynasty to San Francisco, or the move that propels New York back into title contention after years of near misses? The timing seems strategic. With the trade deadline approaching and both teams vying for playoff positioning, league observers suggest that the Warriors and Knicks may have been quietly coordinating behind the scenes, ensuring that when the news breaks, it lands like a bombshell. Fans in the Bay Area and Manhattan alike are preparing for a roller coaster of rumors, with speculation about salaries, player fit, and even locker room dynamics dominating sports talk shows. While nothing is official, the mere rumor has already fueled heated debates across fan bases. Could Golden State be betting big on a future MVP candidate? Will New York finally secure the missing piece to challenge the Eastern Conference elite? The NBA world is holding its breath, and if this deal goes through, the ripple effects will be felt for seasons to come. One thing is certain: when the dust settles, the Warriors-Knicks trade will be remembered as one of the boldest, most talked-about moves in recent basketball history. Stay updated exclusively with the latest Dub Nation news. Subscribe to our channel and hit the like button to keep getting daily updates on the Warriors. Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments. Your input is essential for the Dubs community. Stay tuned for the next video.